I just competed in the 2024 America's Next Top Youth Trainer Challenge, and this is the class reflections of all 4 classes I competed in. I'm going to be going over what I liked, what I didn't like, and how I would have gone about doing things differently, if that makes sense. So like how I would have changed things is what I meant to say. This is class number 1, handling and conditioning. So here I was standing waiting for the judge to tell me to go. I have really bad eyesight, so I could not see him tell me, so I think he did tell me before I went. So we had a walk-off. It was nothing, too crazy. It was just a walk-off. So here we were supposed to stop, and I was supposed to drop the lead rope and pick up all 4 feet. Callie has never moved when I picked up her feet before, so I was very confident. And she saw the blue cones and was like, "What the heck? Like, what is that?" And she turned and moved. I will say almost every single other pattern that I saw, people's horses did walk away, but I was disappointed because that's never happened before. But I was like, okay, she walked, I'll just drop the lead rope again. I don't think she'll walk again, and I believe she did. Maybe not. Okay, I don't think she did. But, yeah, here, she starts to walk off again. So I just kind of went right in front of her and got the lead rope. I was disappointed with that for sure, but I just moved on. Then I forgot I was supposed to trot, and then did. So I didn't get a big stride. I would have stopped a little bit longer after the picking up feet and just gave myself a second to move on past that. And then I dropped the lead rope again, thinking she would be fine for brushing, and again, she did not. She wanted to sniff this chair, so I would have maybe held the lead rope if I did this again. So then we trot off. I didn't love that trot transition. It was a little bit rough, but it was nothing big. And then we backed, which I liked our back. We had a really good back. So what I would have done to change a couple of those things, I would have probably brought her out more before the competition. She had been hauled out about twice, and she just didn't have enough preparation. So then we go up to the trailer, and she does not want to get in. She just went on a 5.5-hour car ride the night before, and she was like, absolutely not. It was also a really small trailer for how large she is, and she really was just uncomfortable. I should have, went and worked on loading before the class, which I did not do. So she kept backing out. I almost gave up and walked out of the class, but she just hopped in the nick of time. So it was a rough class. We placed 11 out of 32, I believe, in this class. So my next class was trail. I had just run to the arena because I was about to enter on the wrong side. So we were a little bit, not stressed, but a little bit pumped up going into the class. So we came in, stood at the thing. I thought we were standing on the wrong side. Apparently it didn't matter which side, but it was okay. We walked in. You're supposed to pivot in this box either direction. She was not wanting to stick her foot on the other side, and so I just decided to switch to her offside, and it was not too bad, but then she decided to try to side pass out, so I just kind of ran out of the box as soon as possible. I would have just taken a second to fix that. We had a decent trot. She was a little bit, throwing her head. Wasn't great. I haven't practiced weaving cones much, and so I would have done that. Did a little bit more practice. Next was side passing to the left, taking up a couple steps forward and side passing to the right. She had an okay side pass to the left, nothing crazy. And then her side pass to the right was okay as well. I would have also stopped here instead of just immediately walking off to maybe let her have a second. Next was the bridge. I thought she would be fine with this. She pretty much was. It felt like she hesitated, but it didn't look like it much. She's very good about obstacles. So next was the trotting. I would have maybe given her a little bit more of a second to prepare to make that a little bit cleaner. The stop in that chute was rough. I should have practiced her stop a little bit better in the warm-up pen. And then we were supposed to back into the next chute, which she had an okay back. It was nothing special. And then we were supposed to trot out, which it was not too bad or anything. And then we're supposed to stop, again about the practicing the stop in the warm-up a little bit more. And then we were supposed to show the judge the poncho. He said they wouldn't get more points if you threw it over her, so I didn't. We got 6th out of 32 in that class as well. So my freestyle was next. I don't have the music on, but it's Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. We got 4th, I believe, in this class. I wasn't very prepared for the freestyle, if I'm being completely honest. It was kind of just thrown together. We hadn't even done one of the maneuvers ever as we went into the class. She side passed nicely. Again, nothing special. We came through, I don't actually remember my pattern, to be honest. Trotted, oh yeah, we're supposed to back through these barrels. This is the maneuver we never did before the competition. So I didn't even know how I was going to position her for it. So I walked her around, which I don't know if I would have done. I don't know. I didn't love this maneuver. It didn't probably get me any extra points, but it was just something to fill the time, I guess. I would have maybe planned a little bit more to make that a better maneuver. And then we had an okay trot transition. Was nothing special. So here, she was supposed to jump this barrel that you can't see, and she was not having it. I didn't give her any warm-up before the freestyle, and so I would have given her a warm-up. That was not great that I had to smack her a little bit, but I didn't want to get ran over. And then she was speedy here. I don't know. I should have given her practice before we just went in and did it. But again, I didn't. So then we're supposed to trot here. I felt like she was a little nervous of the tarp, which we've pulled it a bunch of times, so I didn't know why. But I felt she was a little nervous. And so I dropped it a little early. And then we popped these balloons. Again, she didn't care about that at all. And then we came around and walked over the tarp. She looked at it a little bit, which she doesn't normally do, but, it was okay. And then we came over to the pedestal. I had never practiced with this ball. It's a different ball. I don't know, I'm talking like a weirdo. It was a different ball than I normally use, which was much bigger. I didn't realize that. And so I would have brought the other one. So she didn't care about the flag at all. I bounced it and put it under her. The other ball was much bigger, and so it touched her belly, so it was a little less impressive when it didn't. And then we walked over the pedestal all the way and followed the ball, and she just normally would go kick it, and she didn't. She walked around it because it was not the same one. But we got her to kick it before we left. So last was my riding class. It was a little bit rough, if I'm going to be completely honest. We got 6th in this class, but this was only out of 10 because we were selected 10 youth trainers in the U.S. to compete in this class. It's the first ever Mustang undersaddle class ever. And so we came over. She normally side passes great to the mounting block, and she did not today. She was not having it. She didn't want to. She smelled the cone just like she did in handling and conditioning, which I thought was hilarious. But, I just kind of moved on. So this is me just trying to get on. And then when I finally just was like, okay, I'm just going to jump on, she moved away. So I definitely got some penalties in this class, I'm sure. So after this, getting on, we were supposed to walk to the rail and then trot to the next cone. She didn't want to walk forward. She was just being a little bit nervous. We had a rough warm-up the night before, and so I just wanted to get through this class solidly. Sorry, not that cone, the next cone. So next we were supposed to stop and pivot. She was being very rushy. She didn't want to trot to the end of the arena, and so I just kind of stopped and spun immediately and moved on. So I was just trying to adjust to how she was doing. What I would have done differently originally was probably got on from the ground. I suck at getting on from the ground, but I think it would have even been better. So then we trot here. I wish I would have had a more square corner. We come around, and she was being fine, and then all of a sudden she's like, I want to leave, and so she starts drifting to the corner. But I fix her, and we get all the way over, and then when we go to do our simple change, she absolutely blows through it. And we go all the way to the side and pick up our lope, and then we do a tiny little circle. And so what I would have done differently here is when she blew through the change, I would have just picked her up and kept her along the side a little bit more, so that even though I meant to have a smaller circle on the other side, it would have been even. Then we turn a quarter turn the one way. It was rough. She kind of was sucked back. I wish I would have pushed her through it a little bit more. And then we turned the rest of the other way. It was fine. Here was our first side pass, and then our second side pass. I maybe wish I would have kept her a little straighter through her side passes. She was a little bit too bendy. And then we backed up. I wish I would have given her a little bit of time to breathe between the maneuvers. So then this was a freestyle portion of, like, you had 90 seconds to do whatever you wanted in the riding class. And I didn't have a plan at all. I was just kind of going around and hoping for the best. Here was a cute little extended trot. It was pretty decent. We had a rough stop. She blew through it. I wish I would have backed up here a little bit more before I asked her to do the rollback. We had a nice little canter transition. It wasn't anything too crazy. We came over. She was kind of wanting to cut through the middle, so I just kept her straight as I could, and then she blew through the stop again, which I did back her up here, which I'm glad I did. And then I think we did either pivoting or side passing. Yeah, we side passed. Again, I wish I would have kept her a little bit straighter. She was sucked back in that turn. I wish I would have pushed her through it before going straight from the side pass. And then we did a little leg yield, which she doesn't know how to leg yield, to be honest. But I asked for it because I felt like she wanted to go that way, and it worked. So I was happy with that, I guess. And then we did a little spin and side pass. I didn't mean to ask for the side pass, but she decided she wanted to, and so I went with it. I wish I would have been a little bit more prepared in this class. Maybe warmed her up a little more before and gotten her exposed to the arena a little bit more. It was a big arena that she just was stressed in a little bit. I can't blame her for any of this. So really, she just needed a little bit more prep work, which is my fault. We have another competition at the end of the month, and I will do another class reflection. And it'll show kind of how I prepped in between and what I changed to see if it will help me in the next makeover, if that makes sense. Callie ended up placing 5th overall and 4th in our age division. I was happy with how it went, I would say. I just think that I could have prepped better. Whether that be a more prepared freestyle or a little bit more of a warm-up for the for the riding class and the handling and conditioning, but I was very happy with her. I also want to say thank you again to my 2024 sponsors. I will list you all at the end of this video. Make sure to go check them out. I really could not do this without them.